After being out on the reef all afternoon yesterday, Jess really wanted a day just hanging out at the resort, which we have had today, so a fairly relaxing day. I'm in trouble though. I'm in trouble with Jessica because we had basically said this was going to be a holiday, so there was no work to be done. And I have actually done something for work. To be fair though, I'm not working on client deliverables. I've got this kind of time out away from the pressure of having to meet deadlines and submit things to clients, and I find what happens then is my thinking expands and I get more creative insights, and I love being in that space. It's really energizing and engaging. But I do have not a client deadline but a deadline for submitting some proposals to a conference. The conference is in Washington next May. It's the Association for Talent Development Conference. And if I can get approval to run a pre-conference workshop, I basically have the conference fees waived. And it's a great experience to go to a conference and present as well as then participate in sessions. I've also putting in a proposal for a 60 to 75 minute education session as well, just in case I miss out on the workshop. Now, you'd think Jess would be understanding about this because I've said to her that she can come with me on that trip, and we're actually going to take a month. Because she does distance education, we've got the flexibility that she can be anywhere and still continue with her schooling. So planning a fairly big trip to the US next year. So my workshop is at the strategic level, which is where I do most of my work, helping learning and development leaders and teams come up with strategies, operating models, ways of creating more value for the organisations and the people that they serve. So I've been working on something. It's been evolving over time through various client assignments, and I've got this canvas, this operating model canvas that I've put together that I think would make a really great workshop. I'll talk you through it. So you can see the whole thing. It's laid out on one page, but I'll talk you through it in the sequence I would work through it. So it starts with understanding who your customer is and using some what's called human-centered design approaches to really understand their expectations and needs, and figuring out what the value proposition is of what you're offering. And big hint, it's not just training courses. So from there, the attention moves to, well, what are the delivery channels you're going to use? And in this case, the main channels to look at are resources, which can include courses, people, connecting people to each other, utilising experience that people have, and workflow, getting learning happening in the flow of work. And then I've got a generic, what I call value delivery chain, which is a high-level set of key activities or processes that L&D need to have in place in order to deliver through all of these channels to meet their value proposition. Of course, no modern operating model is complete without understanding what your technology stack is, and that could include both learning technology and non-learning technology. Things like Microsoft Office, where there is a lot of functionality for collaboration, which can be used as a way of learning while you work. Then we go on to look at organisation structure. What are the mix of resources you need? Internal versus external, learning and development versus non-learning and development. And what's the mindset and skill set that you're going to need to deliver via these channels to your value proposition? And then finally, underlying it all, there's a management system which is made up of governance, operating principles which help you make key decisions, and regular management routines. So the whole idea is that people design their own operating model for their context, but I'm trying to encourage people to think more broadly about what's the role of learning and development, and apply a performance mindset to understand what high impact and performance means in terms of business results, as well as that people-centered approach, which is becoming more and more prevalent, both when we think about people as customers and employees. People want a good experience. So what does that look like from a learning perspective? So I'm quite excited about the flexibility of this model and the different range of ways I can use it, not just for a workshop, but for my service offering, potentially some online courses, webinars. I could modularize it. So I'm really happy with the way my thinking is finally coming together on this. You may have heard this bath running in the background then when I was snapping. We've got this beautiful outdoor bath in the courtyard at the villa we're staying in. You may also have noticed my slightly sunburnt nose. We were outside this morning for a little while, went for a swim at the pool, so I didn't have sunscreen on. Bad move. We're going to pop some sunscreen on now. Jess is going to have her outdoor bath and I'm going for a walk on nearby 4 Mile Beach. This is what the bushland looks like along the pathway walking down to the beach. As you can see, quite dense, tropical, cool, lovely, refreshing. And then we come out onto the beach itself. This is 4 Mile Beach. As you can see, very, very flat water. It's low tide, so this wide expanse of beach with the Daintree in the background, the rainforest, the hills. And as you can see, you can probably walk out a long way and not get deep at all in this water. Lots of coconuts on the ground alongside all these little balls where crabs burrowed into the sand. It's extremely pleasant down here. The palm trees lining the side of the beach, that calm water just gently lapping against the sand. I'm just going to tune out, turn off, relax and enjoy a stroll.